Okay, so this week's movie was Amarcord by Fellini, released in Italy in 1973. It won the Best Foreign Film Oscar in the US in 1975. The name is interesting. It's a univerbation, which is a combination of words, and they also called it a neologism, which is just a made-up word. But the roots of it in Italian include things like to love, to remember, the heart, and bitterness. So it combined a vast variety of emotions and things. It was built essentially as a childhood reminiscence of Fellini's growing up in an Italian village. It went out of its way in some cases to mock some of the things like Mussolini's activities and posturing, the way the Catholic Church kind of kept people under the thumb, and then the community's inability to, quote, adopt moral responsibility for its activities. So that led to a variety of different behaviors. There's lots of sexual innuendo and fantasies involved in the movie. Some things relatively explicit, fist pumping and things like that that were more just suggestive. Anyway, it started in the spring in this village with the cottonwoods coming down, and they said when the white stuff comes down, it's spring. And so they had a big celebration and a big bonfire that was their annual thing, and they burned an old lady in effigy. And then they took off from there. Um, the There were a wide variety of characters in this movie. There was Tito, who was the uh, represented Fellini's young self, and all his buddies, and there's his schoolmates that went to the Catholic school. And then there were various women. There was an elegant woman who was Grandisa, or Grandisa, I think was as close as I can come, who was always walking around with her friends dressed to the nines, and a lot of the men in the area idealized her. There was a loose woman that was in various locations and various times, and they talked about her quite a bit. There was the father and mother of Tito. The father was like a working guy, but he had been sort of an anarchist in the past, so he got into trouble with the Mussolini's fascist group. They talked about fascism and so forth. Then there was Uncle Theo, who was completely out of his mind, but they got him out of the asylum for a short time and drove him around. They said he's acting normal, but then he climbed up in a tree and shouted, "I need a woman," for hours until this tiny nun came and lured him back out of the tree. Just odd stuff from start to finish. Um, so I think that was a big car race in this. There was a episode where in the fall they all went out in their boats to see the huge ship that had been built by Italy. It was a matter of pride of the Italians, and eventually it came by and capsized all their boats and so forth. And there was a car race, and there was a guy on a motorcycle who was completely nuts, driving around all over the place, just for some local color, I guess. And then as the movie moved towards its end, it kind of created, it would be a good thing to talk with Gary about the arc of things, because it came back to the winter and there was snow and they were out shoveling snow, and Tita became ill but was nursed back to health. But his mother, who was Miranda, died, and that was kind of a disaster for the whole family because she was sort of the glue that held everything together. So that's as close as I can come to encapsulating this movie. It's really something I think I could watch again a couple of times and still get more stuff out of it. But unless you're kind of prepared for it to be sort of a fantasy and sort of a imaginative thing, you'd kind of wonder what it was about.
Mhm. I
But
did.
Roger Ebert loved it, and the Rotten Tomatoes people gave it an 88, and it won a lot of awards. So It was widely acclaimed as being a worthwhile movie.
I didn't care for it. I just number one, it took me a while to catch the drift of this thing. I hadn't read about it. I've never seen it before. I hadn't read about it in advance, so all I knew was that it was a Fellini movie, and I'm not that familiar with his work. So it took me a while to understand where it was going. You know, for a while I thought it was a day in the life, and then uh, it became obvious that it wasn't. Seemed kind of episodic without connections to me, so I didn't care for it too much.
Yeah, I was having a hard time following it too. I had to break it up into pieces. There was so much kind of, I didn't know that it was a reflection on his life that, knowing that now makes it a little more interesting, gives it context, and it kind of gives you something to understand what you're looking at. But just starting off, it just seemed like I was trying to find the thread in it, and I couldn't find a thread. It was just, as you find out, it's about his life growing up, um, and things like that. So it was hard for me to follow. I don't think I really started understanding it until I watched a YouTube video that summarized it, and then I was going, okay, that's where he was going with this thing. But I think you could pick apart all these little things that happened and say try to figure out what he was saying. And for instance, is the boat behind me. The boat came through at night like that, and what do you think he was trying to say with that in that element? There was probably 100 elements in this movie, that you could easily dissect and try to figure out.
Yeah, it's been described as carnivalesque, and if you think about it in terms of like, so you go into the carnival and you see this and you see that, and you go to different stages or different inside, different stories and that sort of thing. It didn't Bill, you didn't figure out a thread because I don't think it had one. It really was just a series of vignettes. I hadn't seen it before, but I have seen Fellini on it, and while I respect the work, and I know that it's considered to be, especially this movie is considered to be a masterpiece. It didn't appeal to me. It wasn't that I disliked it, but it didn't appeal to me. I think partly because it's hard to relate to that, growing up in Europe in the 1930s. I have nothing, there. I don't have context except for knowing what was happening with, the rise of Nazism. But and I have, like I said, I didn't see this, but I've seen, like, for example, if you haven't, Satyricon, which came out earlier, before this, which was I think 69 or 70, and that was the, sort of, oh, if you were, especially those annoying pretentious film studies people, oh, you have to see Satyricon. And I remember seeing that and thinking, well, I didn't really have to. But very similarly, it's just a lot, a lot of sort of little encapsulated stories that maybe have like this one did have a chronological order. Satyricon is set in during the Roman Empire, whereas this one more of a autobiographical in Europe in the 30s. But that's about the only thing that connects each of those little vignettes. And I guess I'm kind of maybe spoiled, or maybe not bright enough. I don't know. But I kind of would, if I'm going to sit down, especially and watch a couple of hours of a movie, I really want there to be a narrative that develops kind of what Gary talks about, the arc. But and I also kind of I need to like at least like one of the characters and be kind of, rooting for them or committed. And again, I couldn't relate to these characters. Sometimes they were just so exaggerated. So for me, I don't think I would watch it again. But I can now say I have watched it.
Well, Satyricon was 4 years earlier,
Yeah. Okay. I knew it was earlier because yeah.
and I don't think I've ever seen it, but it's based on what there's a book, Satyricon, or
I don't think so. I thought it was, sort of Fellini created it himself out of, again, these vignettes, or these, kind of encapsulated stories.
yeah. So he made 7 more movies after this. His first movie, I think, was 1942, and his last movie was like maybe 1990. But it was kind of, you know, it was kind of like they spread out after this, and so it doesn't surprise me they won an award because he was already when this movie came out, he was, a famous director.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were all students, they play movies like this in the student union first to go see on Friday nights and stuff. But
Which is why I wasn't hanging out in the student union very much.
Well, I just lived 2 doors down from the student union my freshman year, so I was there a lot. Yeah.
They used to have movies in the basement of the library too
Hmm.
on Sunday nights, and I think occasionally at Jesse.
Oh yeah, you could see like really, not new movies, but like really big time older movies,
Mhm.
all throughout the course of a semester. I remember seeing Bringing Up Baby, which is one of my favorite of those, those slapstick comedies from the 30s. Seeing that, while I was in college.
yeah, I remember seeing King of Kings, Great Dictator. I mean, there wasn't a lot to do when you're a freshman.
Especially well, of course you weren't at Mizzou, but when our freshman year, the football team went, what, 1-10 or something? They were awful.
You're forced to drink.
Yeah, and Barnhart was at KU, so it was 18 to drink, right?
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
powerful 3-2 beer.
that's right. Drink it all day and drink it all night. But we
It
were
was
like,
like that in Illinois too. So if you were in St. Louis, you could, and were under 21 but over 18, you could go over to the
Jeff,
east side.
that's a great analogy. Forced to drink. 1 and
Yeah.
10.
Didn't
That's
take
like,
much encouragement, as I recall.
No. Did not.
that's like one time I ran into the high school quarterback from my high school when I was a junior, so he was a senior, and it turns out we lived relatively close together because I ran into him at a polling place, and we were commenting back on those days, and Staples would tell people, he was, yeah, I was the high school quarterback, and inevitably said, so what was your record? And they were winless. They didn't even win one game, and so his response to it is, 0-10. So
Very good. Well, Jeff, I have a question for you. I know
Okay.
you mentioned that one of the ways that you became acquainted with this movie was it's in the book, I think you said, or something, where there's 1,000 movies you should watch, in your lifetime or something like that.
Mhm.
But there are 999 others than this. What made you pick this one?
I was flipping through, and I saw a bunch that I didn't like, and I happened to just land in 1973. It's organized by year.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, well, I've heard about this movie, and I recognized its title, and I read a little bit about it. That was well acclaimed, and so it wasn't anything extremely thoughtful, but that's the source that I used, and it's an amazing book. It's just got so much stuff in it. There's a little synopsis of each movie in there, and something about the director and something about the reception of the public to the movie. And so it's a useful resource.
Okay. Yeah. I was just kind of curious. Um,
Yeah.
maybe were you already a Fellini fan or yeah.
No, I knew of him, and I think I saw Satyricon a long time ago, but I don't even remember it.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't
so I don't know. It appealed to me.
I don't know if I've seen any of his movies. I mean, we've all heard of him.
Yeah.
And now,
Yeah.
if you're gonna have a movie club, you got to have at least one Fellini movie in there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. I thought I'll be responsible for this in one way or another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
I was
think
telling
go ahead.
I was telling Mike and Karen about the picture behind me, and I remembered an album that was called Weird Nightmare, which was a collection of people performing Mingus's music. And the cover on the album is almost exactly what I have behind me. It's really that image kind of struck me that it was the same thing. I was trying, what is this white cow or bull representing here? And I think it's just that strange things came into the minds of these people. There's a lot of fog in this movie too. When the officers were coming out of the tunnel, it was a complete fog. You couldn't really see them. And then when they were out on the ship or on the boats waiting for the ship, it was foggy. And there's a lot of stuff that kind of obscured your perception of things. I think maybe he's trying to say that, this is how I remember youth, but it wasn't completely clear.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
What do you think the big themes of it were? I haven't heard anybody say. Well, we did kind of touch on government and the Mussolini authoritarian government, was
Mhm.
in the background. And I think he was making a statement that we weren't even paying attention to any of that. We didn't, and before we knew it, it was too late before we knew what was going to happen to us, because the government
There's
was supposed to be the 30s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a certain absurdist component to this for sure too, that looking at ourselves through the lens of this movie, people don't do what they're supposed to do, and they make weird assumptions, and they adopt weird philosophies, and they just behave nonsensically. I think it brought that kind of home. Everything is a little bit one off, and don't count on people to behave the way they should obviously behave.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought when they were interrogating um, Tito's father, and he was forced to drink castor oil from the fascists. I went, because I don't know exactly how Italy got itself into that predicament, other than the fact that it wasn't a very functional country. That entire nation got duped into to Mussolini, and so it can happen. Maybe happening now again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
In Italy or here?
both.
And maybe that's one of the big points that he's making, trying to make people
I don't think he foreshadowed Trump, but yeah, maybe with respect to
what was
fascism in
Or
the
that it
30s.
could happen anywhere, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
what was happening in 73? I mean, I know we were pulling out of Vietnam.
Yeah. And water.
Well, in Italy in the 70s, they were going through governments like Sherman through Georgia. They would have governments rise and fall on an annual basis. So I mean, even in the 70s, they were they were a democracy, but they weren't very stable.
Yeah.
What do you think in the 30s he was talking about Neville Chamberlain, or was he foreshadowing that?
Oh, I don't know. When just as an aside, when Hitler came to power, he viewed Mussolini and the Italian fascists as a model. And for some time in the 1930s, Italy was regarded as the more dominant power, and Germany was one of its acolytes. And I mean, that only started to change during the Spanish Civil War, but originally it was Hitler looking up to Mussolini, not the other way around.
That's interesting.
Well, speaking
A lot
of
of
that war, how many well, of course, this is the Bibles, but your dads actually were in the service during World War II. Anybody?
Korean War.
Korean War. Yeah, my dad was too young, but not by much. He got entered in 46 and was in the war of the of occupation, but he didn't fight. But so Bill, your dad was served
Yeah,
in World War II?
my dad was one of the first soldiers to Dachau.
Okay, and where was he in Europe, or was he in the Pacific?
Well, Dachau's in
Dachau in
Germany.
Europe. In Europe.
Dachau, okay, yeah, you're right. I don't know why
Yeah.
brain went
But
for that.
yeah, he was in went through France and Germany.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Matson, you said your dad was too?
Yeah, lady in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, yeah. Yeah, when my dad was, like I said, the Army of the Occupation, he was actually in Japan um, for a big chunk of his time. Just kind of curious.
Yeah. What other things about it? Oh, the winter. The winter in July. What was that all about? The snow? And
I think it was fall. I think it had become winter. It was kind of played against the white stuff coming down at the start of the movie. I know what you're
I
saying,
mean
but
that I think they said it was July. It was like the coldest July they'd ever had, and then all of a sudden had snow everywhere, and they were cutting paths like they were running through mazes and stuff like that.
yeah, Tita was following the good-looking woman around, and she kept going the other direction, and it's kind of slapsticky in there. I don't know. I don't know about the. I thought it was
The
really
timing.
was winter, and they were just saying stupid stuff.
Mm.
No, I picked up on them saying it was July, and it did start in the spring, right?
Yeah.
There's some reference to spring, so it was over a period of 2 months. Anyway,
Yeah.
hard to
Okay.
say.
Well, where was his hometown? I mean, was it in northern Italy? I mean, it was in the Alpine region or what? I don't know.
Let's see if I can find it here. Boy growing up, village of Borgo San Giuliano.
It was called Rimini also.
Yeah, Rimini.
What I could find says that winter brings with it record snowfall. So at least from what I found about Amarcord, it was winter when you saw all the snow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Well, and again, I found it online, so
Oh,
take that
It's
as you
true.
because everything you see
oh yeah.
on
It's
the
got to
internet
be
is
true.
true. I'm always a little bit like, okay, well, I'll take that under advisement and see if anybody else agrees with it.
Yeah, especially something like this, which is so open to interpretation.
Yeah,
And in that respect, it was good because, like a good novel that allows you to use your imagination to fill out the details of something, this, I think, had an element of that.
yeah, yeah. And the
So
other
it's,
disadvantage we might be at is the fact that we're having to read subtitles. So
Mhm.
sometimes you're missing bits and pieces because your eyes are down there and your brain is reading and you're not, completely processing all the imagery.
Yeah, and not all languages are easily translated completely. So, how they say it and how we understand it in a subtitle may be a lot different.
Yeah, and even just a little difference can make it
Yeah.
mean something else. Yeah. So
It's it's like east of Florence, kind of in the,
Hmm.
I mean, central Italy on the East Coast. I don't know, was there any other kind of like scenarios there was a narrator. That one.
It was the attorney who
It was,
it was like Tito's friend from childhood, and he became an attorney, and he kind of sat around and made observations about things.
yeah,
That's the guy you're talking about, right?
yeah, he kept popping up. I was like, who is this
Yeah.
guy? And then it was like, oh, he's a narrator. He'd turn around. He was breaking the third wall or whatever they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd turn around and talk right to you. So I don't know.
Well, I hope it was educational for everybody, at least, if not
Yeah.
interesting or fun or compelling.
Oh, now I can say I've seen it.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Get your AmeriCord button,
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple of recommendations for this week. If you haven't, it just came out, but if you haven't seen it yet, I think it's on, yeah, it's on Prime. Jack Ryan Ghost War, with John Krasinski as Jack Ryan again, and Wendell Pierce as Greer, and then my favorite Michael Kelly, the guy that was in House of Cards, that was the assistant to the.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love him, and he's in it again too. It's really good. It's only about an hour and a half. Good story, good acting. My only complaint is, and it's not a big one, it's my little complaint, is that the CGI at a couple of times was just like so obvious and so fakey looking. I didn't like that. When they'd have the big, wide, and you could tell it was CGI.
No budget?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, they blew up a lot of shit. So yeah.
What
And
channel
those
is
and those actors aren't going to come cheap. But I liked the story. I thought the acting was good. It's well worth it. It's the fakey looking panorama things last few seconds, so that it didn't really spoil the movie, but I noticed it. That's one recommendation. And then the other one, it's called All of You. Hang on, let me see. It's got Brett Goldberg, the guy that was in he's in Shrinking, and he was in Ted Lasso. And it's a romance, but it's not a comedy.
Is it Jennifer Lopez?
No. That one is a rom-com, and it just came out. This one is from 2024. It's called All of You. It's on Apple. And let's see. Like I said, it's got Brett Goldstein, and everybody else. Not everybody, but some others. You'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen that person before, but the name, like the actress Imogen Poots that plays Laura. She's like, oh God, that face is familiar, but that name didn't mean anything to me. But I thought it was very well written, very well acted. But it's about 2 hours, I think. It's a little bit longer than the Jack Ryan one. So, yes, it came out in 2024.
Have you been
what
watching?
channel is the Jack Ryan stuff on? I can't remember. Prime.
Prime.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the things that I watched. Well, actually, I'll have to confess. I did watch one other thing that I can't recommend, but I still it was like a guilty pleasure. It's called The Wrecking Crew. It's got Jason Momoa. It is extremely violent. It is extremely violent. But at the same time, Jason Momoa just cracks me up. He makes me laugh, like pee my pants laugh. So, and he's really good in as this character, but the movie is not great. But it's called the Wrecking Crew. I think it was also on Prime. But
I thought you were making.
but I'm not recommending it. Bill, don't write that down.
I'm doing
But
it.
you're making reference to the music,
That's what I was thinking
studio
of.
session guys.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking of.
Yeah, right. I know that when I saw it, I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. And then I'm like, not with Jason Momoa. Sorry.
No,
And I looked at it and oh, and then the other big guy. Oh, I'll have to look it
The
up.
Rock?
Like a wrestler guy?
No,
The
I don't
Rock?
think he is. Cast. Dave Bautista. Is in it.
He is a wrestler guy, though.
Oh, is he? Okay. Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista, they're like half brothers, and their father is murdered. Well, at first they think it's just a hit and run, but then very quickly becomes obvious that he was murdered, and there's a lot more to the story. And it's beautifully set in Hawaii, so you get a lot of pretty scenery too. But it's like ultra violence. Yeah, there were times where I'm just like, I'm gonna look at my phone until I hear all of this stuff stop, and then I'll look up again because I can only take so much. But yeah, I did watch it. Yeah.
So
Well, I
don't
watched
write
The
it down.
Hangover.
Huh?
Or if you do, just say guilty pleasure, not recommended for
So, yeah, I
those
saw The
that-
Hangover last night. It's that way.
Yeah, right, yeah. Except it's not as violent. Yeah. But
so
yeah.
GP is like PG, but it's a different thing. Yeah.
I'll just put Karen loves this one.
Have you seen pictures like Jason Momoa will take pictures with like a couple and he'll be like hugging or kissing on the and then his other arm is like pushing the guy in the face. And he does this every time and couples go up to him because they want the picture. It's hilarious. It's hysterical. So
So is Donna next?
Donna's next. I don't know why she's not here tonight. She didn't say anything
Well,
or send an email or anything. So I guess Bill, you'll have to message her and ask her.
Okay.
do it in all caps.
Yeah.
Hey!
Donna.
Oh,
Well, I gotta go. It's late.
all right.
Right.
Well, it was
See
good
my-
of you to join from remotely.
Now, will you
Yeah.
be back
I
next
just
week?
wanted to see you guys. I'm
And
sorry. Jeff, I
remember,
couldn't
there's
watch the
5
movie.
Mondays this month. We're not meeting in 2 weeks. We're meeting in
That's
3
right.
weeks.
So it's
What?
July something.
Want to be
Yeah.
the 29th?
Nope.
We
Oh,
don't
no,
meet
no. You're sorry.
Monday the 29th. We
That'll
won't.
be you and
Oh,
Jeff
yeah.
You and Jeff
Yeah,
Arthur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mike might join us too.
Right, yeah. No, it'll be July the 6th. Our next meeting is
Okay.
July 6th. Put that in all caps, Bill,
The next, because
because there's 5 Mondays in June,
It's the first and
Yeah.
third.
and we meet the
I'm
first
probably-
and the third. So the
I'm
first
probably gonna
Monday in
miss that one.
July is the 6th.
You be gone, Jeff?
Yeah. I'm going to a guitar camp in the Catskills.
Yeah.
oh wow.
Cool.
That should be fun.
Taking the Martin?
I have a Taylor that I
Oh.
play now quite a bit, so
Okay.
that's probably what I'll take. It's got more electronic capabilities.
I
Are you
watched
going to be around Woodstock, the town of Woodstock?
It's about 45 minutes outside of Woodstock. The last 2 years I went to this thing and I stayed in Woodstock overnight after the camp and went to see Richard Thompson play at Levon Helm's studio place.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Nice.
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
drove all through there. We didn't stop in Woodstock. We went to Cooperstown, Saratoga Springs. I don't know, a bunch of
Yeah,
places in New York.
Woodstock's it's kind of a hippie place, and of course the music event didn't really take place there, but they still claim it. They have some interesting things. I went to a flea market, and they've got an amazing small but complete hardware store and some restaurants and things like that. And it's just people who live there say, "Well, this is where Bob Dylan used to go, and Bearsville Studios is there, so you can see where Todd Rundgren did a bunch of his stuff and other
Yeah.
people recorded." And so it's pretty cool. They have a lot of history.
I watched a couple of the storyteller episodes. I saw I saw Jeff Lynne. Watched the Jeff Lynne one.
Mm-hmm.
Was pretty good, and I watched the one that was right after it, the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah, we've watched almost all of them now. We
Have
just
you?
watched the Jeff Lynne one, the ELO.
Yeah, I like kind of fascinated with Jeff Lynne. He like has written so much music for all these other artists. You know,
Yeah.
I've never been a huge ELO fan.
But
he
he was
wrote
in the Wilburys.
That's right. He was in
Yeah,
the Blueberries.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he wrote a lot of Tom Petty's music. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like I ran across a YouTube video. We're talking about some of these storyteller videos that Jeff recommended, and I watched the Jeff Lynne one, you know, from ELO, and I saw a thing on YouTube of all this music he wrote for all these different artists,
Yeah.
including Roy Orbison,
Yeah.
Tom Petty, lots of people.
All those Wilburys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Tom Petty had this thing where he would categorize somebody as being a Wilbury and not being a Wilbury, whether or not they were in the group.
Right.
Is this person worthy? Could they have been a
Right.
Wilbury?
Yeah.
Was Prince a Wilbury?
I don't think so.
He wrote a lot of songs.
Even though
He
he
did.
had,
He wrote
And
songs
boy,
other
he can
people
shred
covered.
on that guitar.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 most
He was
iconic
talented.
lick.
Yeah. I don't think he got enough credit for his guitar skills while he was alive.
Well, since you've seen them all, Jeff, what are a couple of them that you like the most?
I liked the Tom Waits one, but that's like an acquired taste, you know. Tom
Uh,
Waits is unlike anybody else. And I like the Sting one. I liked the first one I
oh,
watched was Alanis Morissette, and she was kind of self-conscious, but I found that to be kind of interesting because she came off as being so angry when she
Mhm.
published Jagged Little Pill, and she kind of was.
Yeah.
But she explained some of that stuff, and I don't know, just there's so many of them in there. We watched Pink, that was pretty interesting.
mhm.
Tom Petty is in there. He looked like when he came out on stage, he looked like he was really stoned. Um, Probably was, yeah.
Yeah, we went
But
to
These
Rock
were
and
like
Roll
on,
Hall of Fame.
were these on like MTV the first time through? Is that who
a
produced
VH1,
VH1? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I remember seeing them way back, but not all of them.
Mhm.
Maybe to stretch the
Yeah,
imagination. But yeah, like
so like
They
several seasons.
stopped doing it in the '90s or something. You know, been a
Yeah.
while.
yeah, right.
So,
Well, I do for me. You guys take care.
All
all
right.
right,
All
Yeah.
right. See you
All
guys.
I'll
right.
be here next week,
See ya.
Mike.
All right. Have some good chowder out there.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, what'd you say?
good chowder.
Good chowder.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.
Yeah.
Although,
See you guys.
the worst bowl of chowder I've ever had was in Boston too, but you know.
Bye.
All right, guys, I'm out of here as well. See ya.
Bye.
Okay, see you, Mike. Should we wait and see? Oh, Jeff left too. Okay.